Hello, everyone. We're about 2 minutes early, which is good. I didn't think I was going to make it in time to do stuff. See, I've been too busy looking at Twitter, and see when you get too glued into what's happening on Twitter, you forget kind of the time. That's what I was doing for the last hour. Um, so that's what's happening here. um, now let's see. Do I have everything set up here? See, that's the worst thing of not being live on the computer and stuff like that. When you're doing it on the phone and stuff. It can be awkward. Let's see. Let's see. There we are. So yeah, the usual thing with the wait a few minutes. You know yourself. Um. Now let's see. I had to get something, so give me a second to get this thing. Mm. There we are. Sorry for that. Put on my hat. It's got cold now. You notice the difference between yesterday and today. It's got a bit nippier. Um, you can find it this evening. Where early on I was out, and you can find it there. Let me see. You can find it there. It's a quite a difference because the other day the sun was shining in, and we were all being blinded. I was being blinded. Everybody was being blinded with just the glare of the sun, I suppose. Because it was far too warm first of all and too bright. Two things came together to make one. Let's put it that way. Let's see now. Sorry. It's just half now. Very good. We're on time, anyway. So. It's good to be on time. It's good to be in the habit of keeping on time, at least trying to, because obviously things will happen now and again. But it's good to keep a good pace of time. Let me see. So I'm looking for something here, and I can't find it. The usual thing in this channel. Uh, that seems to be fine. Yes, that's good enough. See, with these streams, there's 110 things you have to do to make sure everything's fine. Let me see. So how are we all keeping it? I hope everybody is having a good Saturday so far. The Terror Saturday's already over. Tomorrow is Sunday and then Monday again. Jesus, it doesn't be long going the weekend. It's insane. You wonder to yourself, where does it all go? Where does the time go to? Because it's just gone like that. It's ludicrous. And then Monday's work day, and and then we're near the end of April. We're in the middle of April now. It's hard to believe. And then May next month. Jesus, like it just keeps going. It's hard to believe. Especially when you're live streaming, you're looking more on the dates and stuff like that. When you're putting titles and stuff like that, more than say if you're going to walk in the morning, it's just a normal day. You don't be looking at the dates and the time and stuff like that. Let me see what am I doing here. Let's double check this. So yeah, the usual thing we have to do at the beginning of the streams, we just have to wait around for notifications and stuff to walk. Yes. The usual thing. But yeah, there's a good few things we have to talk about tonight. Good few things. Because again, we haven't really been chatting about the last few days anyway. What does that mean? Bum bum bum. There we are. Um, See, I'm just going through Twitter at the moment, just stuff that's happening on Twitter. Um, so that's taken a good bit of time today. I'm just kind of chilling for the moment and waiting for the thing. There was apparently a bomb was up in Athens or something in Greece. Yeah, there was some kind of bomb in Athens in Greece. That's what I'm seeing here on Twitter. Don't know what's the story with that. Um, Probably hear more about it in the short term. Apparently, that I'm just after seeing that here now. Um, Let me just look to see what's happening. So yeah, now you have my attention. Sorry for that. It's probably going to be quiet enough stream tonight because I didn't really give much notice, and the majority of people probably didn't think I would be live. Consider it was live yesterday, and it was live the day before that. Literally been live nearly every day of the week. And of course, the local election in Finland, of course. Um, there's a lot to talk about there. Well, it's obviously tomorrow, but there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, I wonder do we still have the same problem as we did before on the other live stream? Um, see, 100 million things. That's the problem with live streaming. Sometimes things want to work and sometimes they don't want to work. It should be fine. It looks like it's fine now. See, I'm all paranoid with these things on YouTube, like not working and stuff like that. I'm very paranoid as about it. Because sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it utterly just refuses. A lot of the time, they just refuse it. There's no reason behind it; just they don't want to. People. Um. So let's see. So yeah, as I said, there's a good lot to talk about tonight. Because considering we were out and about for the majority of the week, we wouldn't necessarily discussing much in terms of we were discussing the odd thing here and there, of course, but not too much. Is what I'm trying to say. Compared to sitting down, you're able to negotiate. That's great. We're able to negotiate stuff. Um, but on live streams and stuff is a lot more like sitting down and talking. It's better than that. Hello, Fiona. How are we doing? Hope we're well. Hope we're having a good evening. If everyone only comes into he asked me to look at a video. I can't show it on the stream, but I looked at it there a second ago. It was about the three presidents of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Balkans too. So not many people go to it. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Not many people go to the Balkans in general, like that area. In general, what is happening here, sir? I'm just tidying up listening. Yeah, well, that's usually what I'd be doing when I'm listening to live streams too. Like I'm doing something else and I'm listening to the background. Uh, I don't know. Um, um, no, so I'm just reading through this. See, it's always me. I get distracted by stuff. Uh, like it's just typical me. I just get distracted. I see something and then I'm reading it and I get distracted. Sorry about this again. Again, it's both PDHD. Yeah, I will. Yeah, he wanted me to. I was going to put a comment up on it, but I said I'll wait until he comes in here. But I didn't know about it because you learn something new every day. I didn't know about it. See, different countries have different systems. It's just different, yeah. It's just weird. I don't know how things get done. I suppose I look into like I only watched that video. I never really heard of it before, so someday I'll probably look into it a bit more. Where was that? I just seen it. It was up here. Imagine having three persons here. Well, we suppose we better not give them the idea because they probably would have three persons here, and they all be doing fuck all each. So we don't want that here. Three persons here. Well, you suppose you could argue there should be a person of each. What do you fuck they call it? Provinces. Yeah, three separate regions like Ulster. Well, the three counties in Ulster, Connacht, Leinster, and yeah, you could argue that, but there's four. There's four of them. That's the Connacht, Ulster, Munster too. Yeah, yeah. There's four of them. But hello, Brian. How are we doing? Good evening. Uh, invite? Which invite? Oh, you mean the video made? Yes. Well, that was not directed at any political party, just to say. It was just in general. When I was in my experience. Um, eh? So I'm just literally doing 500 things or so. What I mean by 500 things, I'm too busy reading stuff. It's over. It's over. The West has fallen. Um, yeah, I don't know what caused that. It wasn't like a helicopter, another helicopter question. I thought originally it was. But looking at the video, it does seem like the blade of the helicopter detached. So it either wasn't put on properly or the something just went in the helicopter. So, but still, it's very tragic, and especially the last photo was taken before they got on to the helicopter. A family, young family, um, three children. It's tragic, and being all excited to go up in the helicopter and stuff, and see the view of New York, and unfortunately, it didn't. It was the last photo they ever took. Um, it's a very tragic thing. But I don't know what caused it to happen in the first place. Um, it must be some kind of fault. I highly doubt it's foul play. But there must have been some kind of fault with the helicopter, the blades of it. But the other thing I would say is, and I suppose many people touched on this too, that it's lucky that it fell into the Hudson, fell into the river, because New York obviously is very densely populated. It's lucky it didn't fall on a skyscraper or another building or on the street. It could have killed many people on the street if it fell on the street. So it's lucky. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but it could have been a lot worse. Only for it fell into the Hudson River. It didn't fall on the street or onto another building, because it could have been a lot worse for ground casualty wise. It was a lot worse, obviously, because people did lose their life, children lost their life, but it could have been a lot worse in terms of other casualties on the ground. Hello, everyone. I know a lot of people just stopping in now. How are we doing? Imagine it is 16 minutes. I've been sitting here. 16 minutes. It's crazy. To take that, literally been here for 16 minutes. It doesn't feel like 16 minutes. That's the thing about this. Like the time just takes off. Like it's insane to think that 16 minutes has gone by. I don't know where that goes. I don't know. I don't know where it went. It doesn't feel like time just flies. I'm trying to say, like it's ludicrous. It is ludicrous. Sure. Surely. So I'm just getting these things ready here. Let me see. Yeah, I show this first, and then we go on to the things. Is this a McDonald's you're talking about, or where was this? I'm out of touch with all this. Um, that might be a bit high now. I think it's okay. Now, so you probably heard about this, or maybe you haven't. I probably should make a video on it some stage. The government spent €200,000. I think it was 1.6 million in total. 1.6 million on chauffeur cars for Ukrainians. Now it's 1.6 million. The cars each cost 200,000. Like it's ludicrous. It is literally ludicrous. That this money was spent, 1.6 million that we know of course. So it's 200,000 each for a car to chauffeur around Ukrainians. Now it beats me. Not including the drivers, of course, because the drivers have to be paid too. So beats me. Ludicrous. But it's insane. McDonald's, yeah. I know it's full of. Oh, in cavan, you mean? I don't know. I don't know where they would go, but yeah, they probably got the chauffeur-driven cars for them. But it's ludicrous. It is really ludicrous. That is better. The sound of the language. Yeah, it could be Russian either. I don't think there's many Russians. There are more Ukrainians, but Russian Ukrainian sounds the same. Belarusian sounds the same too. That kind of area sounds the same. That kind of language. It's kind of just the dialogue. So. So yeah, but no, it is mad. €200,000 each for a chauffeur-driven car, and again, that's not including the driver. So we could be looking at maybe, and that's what the government are telling us, begrudgingly, of course, too. We could be looking at 4, 7, €8 million for this kind of crack. It's insane. It is madness when you really sit down and think about it. And there's people who can't get hospital appointments, and there's no money for that. Allegedly, of course. Now, just going on to the local elections in Finland, of course. Sanna Marin was speaking on the event in Helsinki. This is where they have all the events. I remember being here. The local elections. No, not the local elections. The European elections. This is the silent chapel. This is kind of a public square. The movement shop is just here too. This is where they kind of all the parties kind of have the stands and stuff for the election, where they do the canvassing and stuff. So I was here for the European election. So Sanna Marin was in Berlin at the time of the European elections last year. So it's unfortunate that I wasn't there today. It's quite unfortunate. But here was the thing. I was planning originally to go, this time last year in April. So I probably should have been there if I would have went with it, but logic doesn't persist in my brain. But it's interesting to see. Touch the many things, the social healthcare cuts, etc., etc. And on and on. But I laughed at this fight that they made. After Marin's speech, people flocked to. There's a translation error here. It's supposed to say "ho," but it says "him" when it's translated from Finnish into English. And exchange words. People streamed past the chairman, the current chairman of the Social Democrats, to Marin. It's quite insane. Basically, the horde's assembled. The poor woman was being photos and people talking to her. Everybody was talking to her pretty much. So I feel sorry for the poor woman because there's that many people wanting to talk to her and to take a photo with her. It's quite insane. The poor woman wants to talk about 2,000 or 3,000 people in about 2 hours. You feel sorry for the woman. And it's all because of this woman too. Also, there's a mayor election in Helsinki for the mayor's office. So, so it does look like she might get it. The mayor of Helsinki. Making her the first woman to ever hold the title as the mayor of Helsinki. It seems like it. It's kind of 50-50 what's going to happen. The same with the one on Tapway. It's hard to know what's going to happen. It's kind of 50-50. So this is the current chairman of the Social Democrats, the person who took over the Sana. But I laughed at this, the queue. This is the current Finnish Prime Minister, the National Coalition Party. Only about 10 people turned up to see them. Literally only about maybe 20 people turned up. And nobody kind of really wanted to take photos with him. And the same with the press. The press wasn't that bothered with him. A very small queue, barely 5 people went and took photos with him. So, it kind of tells you all you need to know, that it's not going too well. And obviously, the week has given out absolute fucking hell. The leader of the True Finns did not give a speech, but gave an interview to Liv. She moved when she was asked how much support and how much encouragement the Finn party will receive in the upcoming election. She wouldn't answer them. So, there's a lot of cope at the moment. She's literally, I don't know what to say to you, but yeah, she's not too happy at the moment with the question she's getting. And then the other question she's getting too, why is your party full of criminals? Because it's not going too well for them. So she's basically just giving out fuck. And giving out about Marin and, how dare Marin and, that. So it's not going well for, as you can see, it's just not going too well. Because it's pretty bad. In terms of the support, it is atrocious. How the mighty have fallen. Hello, Aarononi. Good evening. How are we doing? I seen the link you shared with me. I didn't know that before, to be totally honest. See, you learn something new every day. I didn't know about 3 presidents in Bosnia and Slovenia. It's insane. I don't know how things get done. I never knew about it. Someday I'll look into it a bit more. But it's insane to see. I don't know how they get done. One's a Serbian, one's a Bosnian, and what was the other one? Uh, it's insane. I don't know how to get anything done. Imagine having three presidents here. We were just saying before that with Fiona. Uh, Imagine having are you heading to Norway? Where did you get Norway from? Why am I going to Norway? What's the purpose of going to Norway? Why am I going to see the Oslo fjords? Why am I going there? Um, why am I going there? Like who? Oh, it's because what Tony said. Yeah, I'm not going to Norway. No, he's getting confused. I think he meant to say Finland, but you know, but yeah, it's not Boston pretty much. Um, yeah, it's not going well. um, just what the way to bottom this. Yeah, so it's just not going well for the Finn party, sadly. Made to made. Yeah, I think Wika is just totally coping. Something fierce, because it must be like it is done for. Like they are done for. People are out to get them. Like really, people are really out to get them. And the last election, they said the same. The European election last year, and that didn't go well. They said, "Oh, everybody's with us," and it didn't go well. They had four candidates for the European Parliament. Out of the four candidates, only one got in, and before that, they had three seats. So pretty much, they lost nearly all the seats, and lost half of the voters. Like literally more than literally lost 70% of their votes. You know, um, and not to mention that a fringe party, the Left Alliance, got more votes than them and stuff like that. It didn't go well in the slightest, So, and it's not going to go well here because because literally the moment she's just coping, like everything, it's everybody else's fault that everything's happened. It's literally Mawan's. It's everybody's fault. It's a quite difference compared to Sana Mawan and stuff like that, because the horde's literally assembled. There's 3 or 4 thousand people listen to her speech compared to a week where there was only about 5 people turned up. The same as the current Finnish Prime Minister, only about 5 people turned up. They listened to him too, so it's not going well for them. Yeah, yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah, I think Tony meant to say Finland, but he said Norway. I wouldn't have any business go. The only time I would have went to Norway is if that time when she was going to the Oslo Business Conference last year. That was the only reason why I'd be going to Norway. Yeah. Oh, in the comments of one of the videos, yeah, not here, no. Yeah, but no, the translation, that's what happens. You often see it many times. But yeah, it's not going well for Wika and them. I just want to touch on this too. I'll show you something else anyway. I just want to touch on this woman that's going to live in the treehouse for a few days to raise funds for a parish church. Uh, it's quite insane. Um, but it's a good idea. Like she's dressing up as a board and going to sleep in the tree and stuff. Like it is quite. It's quite a thing to be honest. I wouldn't have come up with this, but she's raising a good bit of money, so I'm happy that she is for a good cause. Uh, so yeah, she's raised 1.1 million to date. uh, like her and the community's raised 1.1 million. They need an extra 400k. Like it's quite insane how much money they've raised, but it's a good cause, and hopefully they get the money soon. But there's a lot of people donating. There's thousands of people are donating to this, which is good. Yeah, it's a good idea. It is really a good idea. Now, obviously, she has food and stuff. Don't mean to say that she's on hunger strike or anything like that. It's Mountain's fault. Um, Let me see. Bum 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 bum. It's funny to see too, like the last few days, in terms of the videos I was putting out and stuff like that, they got more growth and stuff. What I mean to say is, YouTube has hit a button on my channel to stop videos getting out there. What I'm trying to say, on the algorithm and stuff like that. Because I've said something wrong the last few days and they're very upset about it. It seems to be. Because you can see it in the charts. Like I'm looking at the charts here. You can see that some button was pressed somewhere on YouTube to stop videos getting growth and being shown to subscribers and stuff like that. Even though I'm not that worried about it, it's just I suppose it is said to ship a free speech too. But what can you do? YouTube is going to do YouTube stuff, I suppose. It comes with the brand, I suppose. That's why. What I mean by with the brand, when you do politics and stuff like that, that's what happens, I suppose. See, that's why we're going to switch to fashion. Going to be a fashion channel. It could be the True Finns either. They could be fucking me over. Oh no. What is this? So I'm reading through stuff too at the same time, doing multitasking. A lot of coping at the moment. Not for me, but for other people. Total coping. So just looking at this, the latest polls in the election, I know I'm not... I should probably be paying more attention to other stuff than this, but it's interesting to see just how become a tech channel. No. But no, it's probably just something I said. I think it was in the report, like what I was talking about. Was talking about the citizenship, like making citizenship harder. I think you'd be very upset about that. I think that's what it is. Because you can see the drop. Like I'll show you probably later on the drop. Like you can see the drop is there and it's just straight down. So something was switched somewhere to stop like videos being shown and all that. Like I suppose shadow banned. Like for a week there it was okay. It kind of went back to normal. So I do get it. But anyway, it's something I said definitely that annoyed them. So just look at his opinion polls in the local election in Finland. So the Social Democrats was pretty much the National Coalition Party, what's in the co-Finnish government, Sanna Marin's party. It pretty much is Sanna Marin's party is going to win it. Because it's kind of fluctuating between 25 to 21%. That's what it's fluctuating at the moment. So it does seem the Social Democrats are going to do very well. I don't know about the National Coalition. It's kind of fluctuating too between 19 and 21. Like it's gone up by 1 point, but we see. But the biggest thing is the True Finns. Now, just to say, the last election, it was the National Coalition Party in the general election. The National Coalition Party was here, the top party. It was the True Finns which were here. They were there. And then the Social Democrats were there. It's crazy to see the difference because do you remember the True Finns were here? Now they're here. And getting lower. Getting lower. Like the True Finns, this is the second party in the Finnish government. And already literally in a day, they've lost 1.5%. And this has been happening for the last few weeks. They've been losing support, constantly losing support. Like they were here last week. And now the Green League has taken over the majority support. Like even people from the True Finns have switched to the Left Alliance, which is insane. Who voted for the True Finns voted for the Left Alliance. Like literally like more socialist than the Social Democrats, a bit more socialist. But it's quite mad because probably by tomorrow there'll not be many left, to be totally honest with you, because it just keeps going down. Like it's done for. Like, especially the party membership. Like, the party membership has gone. They've lost 70% of the party members. There's nobody to fund the true Finns. That's what I'm trying to say. The only people who can fund them is the Russians. But it's Jova. Like, it's Jova. Like, apart from what's this? What's that? The Christian Democrats, isn't this the Christian Democrats, isn't it? Yeah, this is the Christian Democrats. Or am I confusing myself with those? This is the Swedish party, the Swedish Finns. Yeah, it's hard to remember all the political parties, but yeah. Who's your favorite pop star? I don't really have one. Pop star. Not really anybody. You're asking who? You asking? You're asking me or Fiona? I presume you're asking me. It's not going well for them. So I just talked about a video up about it too. This is to do with deportations this year. So this is to do with the deportations from January to March of this year. Now, deportations issues, there was about 1,800. This is from January to March, just finished there March. So the enforced deportation was only 59. Imagine there's thousands of people coming here every month to seek asylum, and we only deported 59. And to be totally honest, as I said in the video, we could only guarantee that them 59 people left the state because they were forcibly deported. This such thing as voluntary returns. How do we know that these 387 people left the state? How do we know? Like, that's the thing. Like, what is to suggest that they left? Do we have any proof to say these people left the state, or that they just got on a plane and then the next day they came back on a plane from another country? Like, we could go on. So pretty much the only thing we can say that 59 people definitely left the state. In terms of these voluntary returns, let's be fair, they don't check it up. They don't. It just goes to show you, if they did check it up, this would be 100% everybody's deported that should have been deported. So they say the 446 out of the 1,800, which in reality I think it's only 59, left the state. So in total, 44% of the deportation of those were carried out. And 600 of them were ignored. Pretty much them 600 are just walking the streets of the country. Isn't it great? Keeping all of them safe. People who are supposed to be left the country are still here. Great stuff. People have been checked. Yes. Great things. Hello, Tony. Good evening. How are we doing? Watch your videos. Yeah, there's some Finnish people, yeah. Like, the people I know from Finland do watch my videos. There's other people, of course, from Finland. I have often people randomly just turn up from Finland. You confused there with Oni, Tony, too. He thought it was going to Norway because he said Norway instead of Finland. But I think you probably just mistyped it by mistake. So yeah, as I say, I have a video up on this. I talked about it in more detail. But it's quite, to be totally honest. So we're going to be doing a bit of fact checking here. I hope everybody's happy. We're going to become fact checkers. So Wika came out with this. It's basically the coping. She's blaming Sam. She's blaming everybody pretty much. She's not blaming herself. Like, never once did they ever sit down and say, maybe it's actually our fault that all our supporters are leaving us, and that everybody's not voting for us. Maybe it's our fault. Maybe it's ourselves. Instead of straight away they're pointing the finger at everybody. But this is totally false, just to say. Like, it was fact checked and stuff, but it is totally false what she came out with. Because, first of all, there's nobody emigrating to Finland. Why? And especially with their policies too, nobody's emigrating to Finland. Second of all, the only people who can vote in this local election in Finland is Finnish people, it's Finnish citizens. So how does this make any sense? That literally Finnish people, they're the only people who can vote, along with some Swedish people. But how does this make any sense? How does this make any sense that this is causing the collapse of the true Finn support? Because immigrants, it doesn't make any sense. It literally is just cope, because the only people who can vote is Swedish people, some Swedish people, and Finnish citizens. Like, no immigrants from Nigeria, from Ireland, even no Irish citizens can vote in the Finnish election unless they have Finnish citizens or Jewish citizenship. It's the same with the UK. It's the same with any other country in the whole world, pretty much, apart from Sweden. As I say, there's some Swedish that can vote because they have Finnish ancestry, etc. And literally everybody's saying this, that literally this is just cope, because even if they did were allowed to vote, it still wouldn't matter, because the majority of the true Finn supporters would be Finnish people, because obviously being true Finns, etc. So it doesn't make any sense. First of all, this is bullshit. It's just basically blaming everybody for their own misdeeds, because you think they would ever ask themselves, maybe it's the sitters, maybe it's going around cutting people's lives. Or maybe it's hiring criminals, to run as councillors and stuff like that. Maybe it's all that, or maybe it's what I'm saying and stuff like that. Maybe it's stuff like that. You think she kind of sit down and say to herself, "Why is this?" Instead of like blaming everybody, because she's already blaming Santa Mountain. She's blaming Santa Mountain, and Santa Mountain's not even there now. She's still kind of just blaming Santa Mountain for stuff, because everything's Mountain's fault, of course. But yeah, it is literally ludicrous. Like, it's delusional. If she genuinely believes this is delusion, because there's totally false. What I'm trying to say, because again, no immigrants can vote. Simple as that. No people unless they have Finnish citizenship can vote. So how does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. But true logic. But that's what she's on about. It doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm trying to say. It just doesn't. It'd be different if they could vote. Hello, Ben. Good evening. How are we doing? It just doesn't make any logic. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't, because it'd be different if she had some kind of point to it. Like, there's no point to it, because it can't happen. It's not able to happen. It's just delusions. It's just kind of looking for a scapegoat to try and find some way of. And the election hasn't even happened, and they're already trying to find a scapegoat. They try and blame something. I'm not too bad in Ben. I meant to say, not too bad. Hope we're well. Um, so there's more misinformation at the moment from Wika, because why not at this stage? Like, literally misinformation, and I'll show you the proof of the receipts to back it up. Because literally, this woman's just coping at the moment and is making up everything as she goes along. It's everybody else's fault. So at the moment, the Wika is coming out with this: the fuel is getting cheaper in Finland. But this is not true. Like, it has got cheaper by a bit. Yeah, that's true. That bit is true. It has got cheaper by a bit. But pretty much she's saying it's never been cheaper. Pretty much she's saying the true Finns have done it. It's never been cheaper. But actually, this is misinformation. And I'll show you why. So in 2023, when Sanna Marin was the Prime Minister of Finland, the government put in measures to cut the fuel prices, getting rid of the tax, etc., etc. And at the time, a lot of people criticised it because it was increasing the emissions. But yeah, this was the cheapest ever in Finland's history. Back in 2023, when Sanna Marin was the Prime Minister and when the Social Democrats were in government, this was the cheapest ever the fuel was in Finland for the last, I think, 30 to 40 years. It's never been any cheaper than this. Now, it has to Rika's credit, she is right that there's like it's decreased a small bit by a minimum amount, but not to this level. Beforehand, it was a lot dearer, but this is totally false. You can see by people telling her this, like a lot of people are telling her this, that this is totally false. Um, in a lot of regards, it has gone down a small bit. We give her that, but not to the level not to the level this was. What I'm trying to say, because she's coming out and saying she said earlier on that this was the cheapest ever in Finland's history, but it is not true because the government, the true Finns, have not put in the measure like this, because this measure did cut a huge amount. Um, you know, discussing the Finnish, which oh no, the Finnish local elections. I don't know if you how much you know, Ben, but the Finnish local elections are happening tomorrow. But it is delusion. Like it is delusion that we like it has gone down by a few cents. That is right, um, but not to the extent that she's talking about. Chinese New Year, it could be. I don't know. It could be Chinese New Year. Leo Farker, no, didn't back her up. He didn't say anything. No, he never said anything about it. Jennifer Carl McNeil did. Nobody else said anything. No, we're just talking about Weekat, the Minister of Status. It's a long story if you don't know. Um, but yeah, we're being fact checkers this evening. Isn't it great? It's a great job being a fact checker. Fact check. What am I doing here, sorry? This is wrong. Good evening, Sean. How are we doing this evening? So I'm just multitasking him doing something here. We're just being fact checking this evening. We've been all fact checking stuff. Without alcohol, of course. We can't be going around drunk as a skunk. We're not true Finns now. You know, all the true Finns might be drunk, but we're not drunk. Going into pubs and threatening to kill people and stuff like that, and then holding up a flight, and then bringing a gun into a nightclub. No, we couldn't do that. You know, the true Finns do that. If you want that, Tony, we can send you over to the true Finns because they're experts in that. Going to know. You mean Finland. You're confusing yourself. Oh, you're deliberately misleading. That's I don't know what should we call it. Maybe a football game or something, is them like a celebration for a football game, or maybe a birthday party. So you'd be surprised. Sometimes people put it up for the birthday parties. Yeah, can't think of anything else. You know why it would be. But yeah, like some people randomly just let them off. Like one time I was at work in the town, and just randomly there was fireworks for whatever reason. Like somebody from their house must have just found fireworks and decided, "Fuck it, let's light them off." Like just randomly, sometimes they could just be fireworks. So, as long as they don't blow anybody up, that's the main thing. I'm sure we would agree on that. Palm Sunday's tomorrow? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then Good Friday's next. This week coming? Yeah, this week coming. Dear. But yeah, no, you're going to hear a lot in the next few days about the local town election in Finland, because it literally is going to be big anyway. What's going to happen? Like the true Finns are going to get destroyed. Like there's no doubt about it. They're going to get destroyed. So we shall see what happens. I already see them cope. But where did you get the hat? It's a long story. Um, Maybe it's because they know the true Finns are going to lose the election. Like, they are going to lose it. So maybe that's why everybody's celebrating. Like, I think it'd be a win for humanity if the true Finns get annihilated. Um, you know, empathy doesn't belong in politics this week, I would say. We shall see anyway what happens. Because, you know, because they're already setting out the stage, for being beaten. They're already blaming Sanna Marin for stuff that she didn't even do. She's gone 2 years, and they're blaming her for them losing the election. They're already doing it. The election hasn't even been, it's not even over yet, and they're already blaming her for it, and then blaming other people for it. So, when you see that, you're like, yeah, they're trying to find a scapegoat. And that's what's happening. What do you mean you can't see? Can't see what? Oh, Tony's probably just gaslighting. Because I can't see him on my end either. Never been there. Not necessarily. It's very. It would be very left. I don't know how you would describe left wing. It wouldn't be very liberal. Trade unions and stuff like that. It wouldn't be socialist or communist. It would be very left leaning, I would say. I suppose you would call it liberal too, but there's a certain way to call it. Like, they said it to me when I was over there. There's a certain way they describe it. That it wouldn't really describe it liberal and stuff like that. It's hard to find the word. There's a certain word to describe it, but you could argue liberal too, but you could. But at the moment, not really. At the moment, it's extremist. That's the current Finnish government, very extremist. Like, very extremist, especially the true Finns. Extremist, like, beyond belief. Not even extremist fits the narrative. Oh, I got a few. Yeah, I got a few Easter eggs. A few neighbours came with Easter eggs. Yeah, not as many as I usually would get, but I got a few. I have to get an Easter egg for a man. There's a young child on the road. I have to get an Easter egg for him. Just come to think of that. Speaking about Easter eggs, I usually get it from every year, so I should get him a small one, and he'd be happy with that. Like, we'd be soon, Ben. I don't know if he's still here, Ben, but we'd be soon back in Finland. Please God, all going well, of course. In the imminent future, let's put it that way. Beforehand, it was the foreseeable future. At the moment, imminent future. For a while, anyway. Still another while to go yet, but not too long. That's what I eat them all. I think that's everybody to just eat these. Like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Ooh, what if I hit? What is going on here now? Oh, I see it's all going well. Also, speaking about the Finnish government and stuff like that, and how great they are, because they're doing mighty work, the true Finns. And the election tomorrow, you think, you think the true Finns would be caring for people and stuff like that. So bear with me a second. Yeah, just bear. I get to everybody's comments in 2 seconds here. I just want to have the. So Finnair, the national airline in Finland, has cancelled 200 flights affecting 28,000 people due to a pilot shortage. And the reason why this came about, you're probably wondering why the reason came about. Well, the Finnish government and Wika particularly came along with sitters and cut all the funding for Finnair. So pretty much the Finnish government came along and cut stuff, and that's what happened. So pretty much they lost the Finnish economy because tourists, obviously a lot of tourists won't be able to go during the summertime. 28,000 people to say, nearly 30,000 people that we know of yet. This is during June and stuff. We will not have the flights, and loads of tourists won't be able to go. So this is a huge loss of the Finnish economy. What I mean by that is 35 million worth of a loss of the Finnish economy in terms of people spending money, and in terms of hotels, and in terms of that, it's 35 million. Now the True Finns, Wika has not given the shit to do anything about it because they just want to see everything collapse and blown up. So this is great news for the True Finns, and a day before the election because. The pilots are not happy because they want a pay rise. And obviously Finnair can't give them a pay rise because the Finnish government have come along and cut. And obviously they can't employ extra pilots too because, the Finnish government have cut. So, it's a great show. Like literally running the country into the ground is a great system. Yes, lovely stuff. Because the cuts. Are you following the? Yeah, I'm following it, but probably it's going to take a while before the iron out's open. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be difficult negotiation, but we'll see what happens. But definitely Iran is very either they have it now, a nuclear weapon, or they're near enough. They're very close to getting it. So we should see what happens. But I say there'll be some kind of negotiation soon. But I say it'd be difficult. It's going to take definitely probably a month before something's ironed out there. So, but I say it's something will be ironed out sooner or later. What I mean to say, it's definitely going to take a while. It's not going to happen like tomorrow morning or next week. It's going to take a while to negotiate all this. Oh, the Scarface. Yeah, Vice City was heavily inspired by Scarface. No, there's no games tonight now, Tony. We'll be starting a new game. I tell you this, we'll be starting a new game. When's the 22nd? Not this Tuesday, next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, coming next Tuesday, we'll be starting that game. There's a game coming out with us. It's not going to be a long game. We're only about an hour or two, I think. That's what it's going to be. It's not to be a long game, but it's just to play it. It looks interesting. And it's pretty short, and it's not going to take too long. But see, we could start a big long game now, and we'd be into Christmas because we need consistency in terms of if we're going to play a game, play it every night and stuff. The eggs. But anyway, so nobody will be going to Finland during the summertime, unfortunately. Because the cuts. Just seeing this actually too. So apparently this is a Ukrainian travel agent and stuff. Just seeing this, but it seems to be. A travel agent and her husband were caught at Dublin Airport €340,000 in cash, and they were in the refused bail. Ludicrous, if you ask me, ludicrous. But apparently they are Ukrainians. I've seen this 3 or 4 times today that they seem to be Ukrainians. Fuck knows where they got all that money, but we can only guess, I suppose. Supposedly it is Ukrainians. Supposedly, because I've seen that not just there, I've seen it 3 or 4 times today. Yeah. They won't be walked over yet, but that's what they say. When it suits them, of course. Countries are right to defend themselves. But obviously, probably having Iran with nuclear weapons is probably not the greatest idea too. Because definitely they probably will use them against the United States. Definitely they will use them against Israel, but probably the United States too. So we don't want a nuclear war. I suppose I would too. So yeah, anything else? Anybody want to ask, Andy? I think we'll probably call it there for tonight. Because to be totally honest, I'm a bit tired. And it's going to be a long night with this election. I don't know where we'll be live tomorrow night. I'd say we probably will at some stage for a few minutes to talk shit about the Finnish election. Um, of course we'll. Yeah. So yeah, anything else before we go? We're going to be here for a few more minutes, and we'll not go straight away. But yeah, but it'd be interesting anyway to see what happens. Just speaking about Iran and stuff, it'd be interesting to see do they come to a deal, or what's the story. It's even the same with the sanctions too, just to see what's going to happen with them. Will China iron it out? What's the story? So I'm just looking at stuff. See, I get too addicted to looking at Twitter. There's far too much information and stuff. What was something? There was something else was going to say. I can't remember now. I'm a great. I have no mind. Apparently, there was some kind of attempted stabbing or something in Dublin somewhere. Apparently. Special interest in Finland. You could say that, yes. You can say I have a special interest in Finland. It's not just that. I suppose this election, the local election, even though they're only local elections, the Cohen state of Finland, for the last 40 years, I suppose, even more than 40 years, the Cohen system they've been building up in terms of the welfare state, in terms of ending homelessness and stuff like that, is pretty much at the crossroads now. Do they continue with that? They have been building up for the last, as I say, nearly 60 years, more than that even at this stage. Or do they completely demolish it and stop cutting everything? And that's pretty much the choice in this local election. Do they go back to the old system, or do they continue with the situs and the cuts? And I think it should be the better way, the other way, the old way, compared to the new way, because the situs, shock and horror, the situs have achieved nothing. The cuts and everything to people's lives have achieved nothing. So it's better to go back to the old way. No, we're not ready, because there's actually a woman that's literally a lunatic, like going around with sitters, running around the whole country of Finland with sitters. That's a bit different. I don't think there's anybody in the Irish government running around the whole place with sitters. And that empathy doesn't belong in politics. An actual psychopath, just to say, like such a thing to say, like that's what Wika has said, that empathy doesn't belong in politics. Basically, she has no care for anybody, because she literally doesn't have a heart, doesn't have a soul. Because such a thing, she doesn't care about anybody becoming homeless or losing their house and stuff. Like total psychopath thing to say, No, I'm not talking about the woman on the wall. I'm talking about the woman. Wiki. I don't know how much you know about Finnish politics. It's hard to describe when you don't know the groundwork. But not the woman behind me. We need the woman behind me back. That's who we need. We need her back in Finland. That's who we need back. We need to go to the old-fashioned way of getting her back. Because that would be the best option. Oh yeah, of course, Iran is no threat to Ireland. We're hundreds of miles away. But you know what I'm saying? We don't want the United States blowing and then Iran blowing each other up. That would benefit no one. If that makes any sense. That's my point, I suppose. I see Micheál Martin being chased out of Moore Street. He should have been chased out of more quicker, to be totally honest. But Moore Street is a mess nowadays. The government want to knock down the whole Moore Street because again they hate anything to do with the 1916 wise and they despise it, so they want to destroy it. But it's of some right being chased away. But no, I don't know how much you know about Finnish politics, but it's hard to describe it all, Ben. I nearly got you by and I'm confused myself. But it's not the woman behind me. Don't think I'm talking trash about the woman behind me. It's another one. Yeah, but speaking to people, I don't know how much you know. I don't know how often you were here many times before. But speaking to people who were with her, that were there in the Social Democrats and the decision was made to join NATO. I understand the decision. But I understand where she came from, Santa Marin, in terms of going to it. I do understand. I understand and I kind of get where she was coming from. Because I suppose the main thing was that Vladimir Putin lied to the Finnish people, to Finland, saying, no, we won't attack Ukraine. It's only an exercise, training exercise and stuff. And then telling the Finnish ambassador to Russia, when they ask what are the Russian army doing in the Ukraine border, this is before they invaded, and then telling the Finnish ambassador to tell the Finnish government that the Russian government has no intentions of invading Ukraine, and then going and doing it. It doesn't quite resemble trust, to build trust, to build bridges, I suppose you may say. And then obviously too, the history and stuff like that behind it. But I do get it, and especially protecting your neighbours, I suppose too. I get why she made the decision, and I get why the Finnish people, it wasn't just her that made the decision. It was the Finnish people. The Finnish people overwhelmingly, when that happened, even when I was there, I've talked to many people about it. There was no appetite before what happened in Ukraine for Finland to join it. There was no appetite whatsoever. There was barely probably 5% support the whole country for it. But as soon as Russia went into Ukraine, that skyrocketed to nearly 90%. Like every political party in Finland were anti-NATO before that, were just wanted to stay neutral. And every Finnish party voted in favour of it. So there was a huge change in the country, I suppose, when that happened. But I do agree with her that she did what she had to do, Yeah, no, I do deem that she did what she had to do, and that's what I deem. And I suppose we probably would have done the same if we were in Finland's position, if we were over there. We're in a different position, obviously, but I get the Finnish position. I understand it. I don't hold it against them and stuff. Yeah, but I'm only saying about in terms of the Finnish position. I'm not saying about Germany and France and the UK. Obviously, there's many things could be said about NATO's expansion into the Balkans, no, not the Balkans, but the Baltic states, Poland, other countries. But I'm just speaking on behalf of the Finnish. I don't really care about the Germans and what they fetch, because they, yourself in the European Union, they would sell the country out here, Holland out in a heartbeat. But it's the fact of the matter that the Russians did lie to the Finnish government at the time, that they said they had no intention of doing what they did. And I suppose is that they couldn't trust, the Finnish government couldn't trust the Russians on the word, that we're not going to attack Finland, we're not going to invade Finland, because they couldn't take their word for it because they lied to them before. And not to mention the history of Russia trying to take over Finland. It's a very complicated history. There's a lot that could be said about it. But I get the Finnish position. Because again, I was there, I spoke to people that were with her, that literally were there on the Social Democrats. One of them is very high up in the Social Democrats. One of them got my whole autograph for me. One that's very close to pretty much in the Social Democrats. And he was there when she made that, pretty much made that decision to join. And I understand why she did, in terms of everything together. Taking all into consideration, I understand why she, even though I'm not pro-NATO and stuff, but I understand why she did it. I understand why the Finnish government at the time agreed with it, and the Finnish parliament agreed with it, and the Finnish people, above all else, agreed with it. Because there was literally no opposition to it. If it happened here, even though Ireland was attacked in the morning, there still would be huge opposition to join NATO and stuff, because it's just regardless of what happens, I say there'd be huge opposition. But it was different over there. I suppose it was different. And I suppose the main thing was that the Finnish sovereignty was under threat. Because you have to remember when Finland gained its independence back in 1917, when the Russian Revolution happened. 1918. The Bolsheviks at the time, Vladimir Lenin, said to the Finnish government that the Soviet Union at the time had no claims to Finnish territory, and that the Soviet Union wouldn't have any issues with Finland. And that's what was said. And then obviously Stalin came along, and the Winter War happened. So looking back in history, the Russians have kind of never been honest with the Finnish government to say, because again, Vladimir Lenin, the leader of the Bolsheviks when the Bolshevik-led revolution, he did lie to the Finnish government. Well, obviously, he probably didn't know Stalin would come along. But what I'm trying to say is, Vladimir Lenin said at the time that Russia would never have any interest in Finnish territory. And 20 years later, that didn't go well. But the Winter War and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff to take into consideration. I suppose it's hard to, unless you're in that position, I suppose you understand. But I do understand why she did it. And I don't think she would have done it if it didn't happen. If it never happened, if Ukraine never happened, I don't think she ever would have done it. But it's not even her, because again, the last person who has the final say is the president of Finland, President Sami-Esko at the time. It's Alexander Stubbs now. But I don't think the Finnish Parliament would have agreed with it, because again, there was no support whatsoever. It was only when Russia went into Ukraine that happened, that the whole parties, the whole public, came together and done it. That's as simple as that. But I don't think she would have, because back when she was younger, when she was in the youth wing of the Social Democrats, she wouldn't have done it. As simple as that, she wouldn't have done it. I can see why she done it. Yeah, we're not really a huge amount of history, in terms of that. But I do know where they came from, because the reason why I'm describing about Finland, I didn't say about Germany, and take for example, you said the UK and France, because I never was in France, to understand why they did what they did. But when I was in Finland, I spoke to this person that was close to Sanna Marin when she made that decision, and I knew people who were in the Social Democrats. I spoke to them about NATO, and I spoke to only Finns about NATO. And what they thought of it and stuff, and they described to me. So that's how I learned. And not even that, before I went, I learned a bit about it. But it's about being there. It's not until you're there when you're talking to these people that you get why they made that decision. And I kind of respect Sanna Marin more for why she made that decision. Because it wasn't an easy decision to make. And it's probably one that she never wanted to make, but it had to be done. And that was the thing about it. So I don't blame her for it, pretty much what I'm trying to say. I don't think anybody blames her for it. Because she had to do what she had to do. It was the situation that arose. Because again, Finland never did anything pretty much to say to Russia, we're going to take your lands and stuff like that. They were just pretty much what happened in Ukraine. That was the last. They couldn't trust Russia to keep their word. They couldn't trust them to say, we won't do anything to hold Finland. And that was pretty much the main thing. That Sanna Marin couldn't trust Vladimir Putin to keep his word. And I suppose she was right in the way because again, all the things I just described there, to anybody's mind, when you had pretty much said to the Finnish government at the time, well, before the thing in Ukraine happened, that the Russian army were not going to invade, and that was reported back to the Finnish government. That the Russian government said 100% to the Finnish government they had no intentions of invading, and breaking that trust, I suppose, it's understandable. Yeah, it's the Netherlands, yeah. But no, it's not the European Union. A lot of Irish people support the European Union in a way too. But it's NATO, 100% Irish people against it. Every poll you see, it's in the 80 to 90%. It's very high. But I suppose the EU membership, it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it's very high, sometimes it's low. But definitely NATO. We would be in NATO by now if Irish people agreed with it. but it's simply they could not do it with the support they have at the moment. See, as I keep saying, at the time when Finland joined NATO and stuff like that, the people's support was there. The people's support behind it was there, and that's how they could do it because the Finnish people agreed that the Russians couldn't be trusted, and throughout their history they've shown that Russia couldn't be trusted to keep their word first of all, and then obviously to not invade Finland and stuff because they did it before. It's the same with the Ireland and the British and stuff like that back in the day. Um, you can see why they came to that conclusion. I don't blame Finnish people for it, even though I'm against NATO and stuff like that. But I respect what they did and understand their position. You know, but there's a lot more things I could say about geopolitics. But I couldn't speak on Germany's behalf, on France's behalf. Yeah, well, but this is the thing, Brian. I would say about the European Union when it was first established was about common, trade, common travel, etc., etc. Nowadays, it's all about the majority of legislation that's enacted is coming from the European Union. I think over 50% of the legislation that's coming through this state at the moment is being decided in Brussels. It's nearly back in the day that we were being decided in Westminster. So we pretty much give up Westminster for Brussels. Because again, the only people who should have the authority to govern over any law that's passed in this country is Dáil Éireann. It's Dáil Éireann, it's the Parliament of Ireland. That's what I have the biggest griefs with, because Dáil Éireann is the highest authority in the state, should be the highest authority, and no other authority outside the state has any say. It's the fact of the matter: the European Union, when it was designed, it was good in theory, and I support in the theory of it, the common trade, the common travel. Understand that's okay. I don't mind that. It's the fact of the matter there's overreach. The European Union is trying to, like, say, even the EU Migration Pact. The European Union is going to tell us how many asylum seekers we have to take in. Like at the end of the day, it's up to the own country to sort that out. It's not up to the European Union to tell you what to do and how to do it. And that's what I don't like about it. The European Union is becoming too much of a dictatorship to tell people what to do, tell countries what to do and not to do. And at the end of the day, the European Union should be just about common travel and trade. That's really what it should be. Not all this, pretty much being dictated to. That's the way I see it, and I think majority of Irish people are nearly coming around to that opinion too. But no, like I would suggest, like obviously even the European Union, I don't know. I suppose if other countries left, we probably could leave. But what I'm trying to say is we need to reform the European Union back to the way it was back in the day, not this carry on. Because again, I understand where you come from, Brexit and stuff like that. But if Ireland say had a referendum in the morning to leave the European Union is going to do their worst to us in terms of what they would probably bankrupt the country first of all, just out of pure spite. So we would have to go if we were going to leave the European Union, we would have to go with another country. What I mean by that is if a few countries left, which I say in years to come there will be a few countries probably leave. We should see when. Hello, Ottos. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great time with Tony, though. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. It's the fact of the matter that even with when the Dáil was first established, the first Dáil, it wasn't that they were taking orders from Brussels or America or from England. The reason why then people went and created the first Dáil Éireann, like the British declared it illegal. And it could have been arrested for high treason. They wanted the Parliament in Ireland that decides on Irish issues and that's for the Irish people, not a Parliament in Westminster that's for Britain and for the British people. And that was the whole ideal of it. And that should be still the ideas of the state. That Dáil Éireann is the whole authority of the state. And no Parliament outside of any other country has any say in the Irish Parliament. And all legislation must be passed by the Irish Parliament and not in a foreign land, pretty much. That's my point to it. Because it's the overreach. That's what's really annoying me about the European Union. It's the overreach. That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you get my point. It's not that I disagree with the European Union theory. When it was first designed, it was common travel, common currency, and common trade. I don't mind that because it's good that European countries countries that believe in freedom and democracy and stuff like that, trade, of course. That's what I've been saying for years, and I agree with Sandra Mowen a lot on this point. That she says we should be supporting our fellow countries that believe in freedom and democracy, and not supporting China and not supporting countries that don't believe in freedom and don't treat their citizens right. Such a thing to say in the European Union too, because the European Union is not treating their own citizens right. But in theory, we could do that. In theory, in reality, maybe not. But you could only hope. But that's the deem it as. Yeah, not even the COVID recovery fund. Ireland's paying more than any other European country for that. Like, we could write the book on it. But even just with the US tariffs, like, the European Union had never even cared about Ireland, pretty much. The only thing they care about is the German economy and the French economy. Because at the end of the day, they're the people who make up the European Union. It's Germany and France, pretty much. Pretty much, they're the European Union. They couldn't give a shit about Ireland or Finland. They only want to protect. As soon as the tariffs came out from America, the German auto industry, we have to protect the German auto industry. But what about the only Irish person? What about them? Are we going to protect them? No word from the European Union on that. They were like, the German auto industry. How are we going to do the French auto industry? We can't live without them. But every other country can go to hell, pretty much, in their opinion. Because that's pretty much the reaction. The German auto industry. What are we going to do? But Paddy and Mary that has a shop, no, who cares about them? That's pretty much the reaction from the European Union when the tariffs came out. But no, in theory, as to say, common travel, common currency, I don't mind that. When I was in Finland too, just to say, it was a lot easier having the common currency. That's what I mean. Instead of Finland having its own currency, like Norway, take example, or Denmark. They use euro, and it was a lot happier using because you know what the money is and all that. You get what I'm saying, and you don't have to change your money over and all that. So, and it was not even over regulations. The fact of the matter that any regulations that's passed and should be in place in this country is passed by Dáil Éireann. And the people should have a better say, because at the end of the day, what say does Irish MEPs have in the European Parliament? Or what say do you and I have in the European Parliament? Look at Kieran Maloney. He said he would be the most anti-establishment politician in the European Parliament. He would give them hell for Ireland. And look at he joined Fianna Fáil. And he joined the Fianna Fáil party. He joined the Fianna Fáil, like the wing over there in Manua, I think was in there. It's insane. It's Mountain's fault. Sorry, I'm just looking for this look. That age. What age is he? Sorry, 07. Yeah, I forgot about that. Hello, Kieran. How are we doing? Good evening. How are we keeping? No cans going. Yeah, but the totally honest, and like it's already just a big money laundering scheme, to be totally honest, because it's just that much money. I don't know what to tell you, but it's crazy stuff. But By the way, we'll probably go at 8 o'clock, kind of. It's near enough. Imagine it's near enough 8 o'clock already. Jesus Christ. See. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry. There you go. Sorry, just reading that. Hope you're well. Yeah, we're all doing 100%. I think we are. Cavan TV live tomorrow. Are you going? Am I going which? Sorry. Am I going where? Sorry, on what? So who's the girl? What girl? What are you talking about? What are you on about? Great stuff. Catherine Connolly knew. Catherine Martin, sorry, the Minister for Arts. We used to be the Minister for Arts. She knew about it for years before the art scandal broke out. Great. Bang, bang, jing, bang, bang. Hello, Paddy. How are we doing? I forwarded to join the UUC. Yeah, pretty much. Like in concept, like back in the day, it was a good idea, but nowadays it's kind of gone to hell, unfortunately. But if it can be reformed, it'll be a lot better. But I don't know. They need to, as Brian says, they need to be a will, first of all. In terms of what I mean by what is this? I don't know what to tell you. Hanging in there, yes, I'm still hanging in there. It's blocked. What do you mean it's blocked? Huh? Can you see Gordon, Sean? I can't see him. Are you here, Gordon? He hardly is blocked. Yeah, I don't see him here, unless we're just seeing different things. Yeah, he's not blocked. He's definitely not blocked. I don't think so. I check now, but I don't think. Is any moderators here? Just randomly, in case they did do by mistake. Any moderators? If you're here, Gordon, please comment on one of my videos. If you can comment, it might just be a glitch here, but if you can comment on the latest video, and then we would know if it's blocked. But I don't think you would. I'll check now. But it'll take me a second to go and find So give me a second. I don't foresee. I hardly did I hit it by mistake. I hardly did it. I would have noticed. Any moderators? I hardly that there's a moderator here, but if there is any here, if you have done it by mistake, if you can let me know. I check now. We look now. So where is it now? Where am I? Permissions, community moderation. Yeah. No. No, he's not. He's not. See, the good thing about my channel is straight away, as soon as I go into community moderation, there's only 4 people, 5 people that are banned on the channel. Not banned, but blocked. And that's what it. And again, these people are not the greatest people to have around. So there's only 4 or 5, would you believe? And that's for a big, huge channel. There's only 4 or 5 people, which is pretty impressive. Like, let's be fair, that is pretty good. Yeah, I don't see he's not blocked. He's 100% not blocked because it would be here. Because there's only 5 people, and the same 5 people that's been there for the last. Because 2 years ago we unbanned a lot of people. But there's only about 5 people. There's only 5 people here. Yeah. No, he's not blocked. No, he's not. It's not. His name's not there. Are you here, Gordon? If you are, put it in the community or comment on the something else. But I presume he's just not here, and he's probably just seeing things. Oh, I don't know, but you're on top chat, yeah. You're not in the live chat. Maybe that's it. I still don't see him. Yeah, I'm on live chat too, yeah. Yeah, I'm on live chat, so that's just to say. Are you on top chat? I don't know why it would be there. Yeah, I don't know. He's not banned 100% because I looked there and it's not there, and nobody else, none of the moderators are here. So if any of the moderators were here, they would have told me. It did happen before. Somebody was banned before by mistake. That's just because the moderator hit the wrong button. But it can happen. But he told me straight away when it happened. So I don't know. I don't think he's here. Yeah, I know. Don't get me started. It just goes like the shot at the time. Hello, Gordon. There you are. Sorry, everybody thought you were banned there for a second. Were you? How long have you been here? You just have to turn it up, or because everybody was saying your comments were here and they couldn't see it. Like everybody was being delusional for a few minutes, and I thought you were banned by mistake, but you wouldn't. Were you here? How long? You just got here, so yeah. What were you yapping about? Who was yapping? Was you, Fiona? What were you yapping about? Excuse my language, but what were you yapping about? He's going to have to turn him up. So unless it's the Invisible Man, yeah, like they're up to tricks, yeah, they're up to tricks, yeah, definitely 100%. Because I thought it was being psycho for a second too, because I had the look in the community tab and it wasn't there. There's only 5 people's names, and they've been there for the last years. I don't know. Yeah, see, people thought you wouldn't showing up. You know, but it doesn't matter. You're here now. That's the main thing. Oh, right. Yeah, maybe, yes. He's a wild power knight. Oh, it doesn't matter. No harm done. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, have a go ahead. Yeah, what is the usual? Going to Norway, it's Finland. So we probably leave it there for tonight. I think that's all she wrote for tonight. Um, we might be live tomorrow. Will you see? Um, all going well, of course. We see about this election, local election in Finland. We see what happens, but we kind of know what's going to happen. It's not going to go too well for our good friends in the True Finns, which is not much loss. So yeah, take everyone. Hopefully, our good friend Sanna Mountain, maybe, hopefully the government, the Finnish government collapses, and there be a general election. Here's hoping, of course. Um, hopefully so. Um, so yeah, let's see what am I doing here? So yeah, that's it for tonight. We see you tomorrow, hopefully. It's not looking good for them, so I think they're done for. But anyway, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you maybe tomorrow. I do have a video up about the deportation system, so please, if you have a chance, have a look at that. But anyway, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I talk to you probably tomorrow, if not Monday. So good night for the moment. Enjoy tonight, and I see you later. Bye.